Wagwan brothers and sisters, it's Imani Blaze and I am back with another video. Today, tonight, this morning, whenever you're watching this, I am going to be answering a message that somebody sent me. It was a real deep little paragraph, not little, sis, it wasn't a little paragraph. You get what I'm saying? But it was a good question. It was really a deep question, very loaded. And I was like, let me answer this in a YouTube video because I have been meaning to go here. I have been meaning to go here already. So I'm going to read the DM and then I'm just going to kind of free talk this. Didn't make any notes. I was just like, I'm going to trust God to let me do this off the dome. So the message read, I guess I would like to know where you stand when it comes to religion, spirituality, and God in general. When I read your posts, I feel like we share similar views, but I'm currently in like this middle deliverance space where I'm moving away from trends I hopped on and starting to see the deceit in it. But I'm also seeing deceit everywhere else. So like I still have a lot of my woke beliefs that contradict religion. And I know you didn't mention religion, but you did mention praying to the universe and being possessed by a spirit. And I was wondering if you could expand on that, because I gotta say, I see what you're saying. I've always read the Bible, but I want to be able to read it front to back, and that goal seems so big for me. And my thoughts and fears around the Bible also hold me back a lot. I was also wondering, what were your thoughts on ancestors? Because I don't work with them, but often feel called to, but don't because they say other spirits can deceive you, etc. And I used to do tarot and universal praying until I realized essentially I'm praying to a program, not the creator of it. Half of me feels like I'm on the right path and I'm seeking God. The other half feels lost in the day-to-day action. I guess my main question for you is, how have your thoughts around your childhood to adulthood beliefs changed around spirituality? From what you were told to what you experience, to where it's brought you now and what God has shown you thus far. And would you consider yourself religious or just a strong relationship with God? So let's just go ahead and jump right into this. Following these trends gonna get you fucked up, all right? You know that, well, if you're just now following my channel, understand that the way I speak truth is just by telling my testimonies, my own personal stories from a real raw standpoint. That's just how I get down over here. So I'm just gonna let it be known what happened to me and how I was led back to God, how I was led back to utilizing the Bible, how I just surrendered and allowed God to lead me. So as a child, I used to walk to church. We were not like super diehard Christians or anything like that. But my child spirit said, I need God. And I used to walk to church. There was a church right down the street from where we lived. When we moved from that area, I stopped going to church. Every once in a while, I would go with my aunt or a friend, but church was not imperative to me, and church is still not imperative to me. I think that's a whole show. I think that religion is used to trap people's minds in a way. Nah, I'm good on that. But I know that God had me go through my journey to be able to show people that you have to have your own personal relationship with God. There's no specific way to have a relationship with God. But for me personally, the Bible, it does have a lot of truth in it. But when I was following these woke people trends, when I was in these groups, like the Moors and stuff like that, it was just a lot of brainwashing going on. And it's because these people were also dealing with spirits that are being used to confuse God's children, God's chosen ones. But the chosen ones, like, we know how to navigate. We're gonna navigate this naturally. But if you're fighting it, you're going to continue to deal with confusion. And God is not a God of confusion. God is not a God of confusion. That was the message that pierced through all of the bullshit that I was putting myself through, because I just wanted to hold on to what I thought I knew. I wanted to hold on to these new ways of being and these new thoughts that trends had me following. That didn't make sense, but I hope that makes sense. So I'm denouncing the Bible. I'm saying fuck Jesus because I'm reading into my history and my ancestors and Oshun and Yemaya and all this deities and all this stuff. This is why I don't rock with celebrities like Beyonce. That girl got y'all fooled. Like, she's literally used to fool y'all, and I'm just here to free my people, the ones who want to listen, okay? Black, white, purple, brown, I don't care. I'm trying to tell you right now that a relationship with God, Source, the Most High, whatever you want to call that, that is most important. That comes before doing ancestor work. God created your ancestors. So when I jumped into this stage, I was so focused on a relationship with my ancestors that I was doing these things that I'm seeing on social media. I'm doing my research, but if we're being honest, I'm being influenced by influencers on social media. And I'm buying these books and these candle magic books, and I'm thinking I'm connecting to my ancestors, but really I'm inviting spirits into my home, into my vessel, and I'm confused. But I'm still working with my ego. That's a spirit too. I'm being led by my ego to think that I'm still doing this right. But me being God's chosen, baby, God is going to get through. God is always gonna get through. So I went through a lot of spiritual warfare, has a lot to do with my suicide attempts. I went through a lot. And it got to a point where I had to surrender. I didn't have a choice. I had to surrender. And it was not until I surrendered to God that my life started to change for the better. And I can honestly say that nothing else worked for me but surrendering to God, but picking up that Bible and reading Psalms and speaking the word of God. And it took a while for me to become confident in speaking on this, because I had done so much shit talking about Jesus, about the Bible, about all of, I did so much shit talking. I'm like, how can I go back on my word right now and acknowledge Jesus? How can I go back on my word right now and pick up this Bible and be reading Bible verses? But God said to me, you are a leader. You are my chosen one, and you will do as I say. It doesn't matter what people think about you. What matters is what I think about you. And I fear God. Me not fear no waste man. Me don't fear no boy, no girl, no man, no woman. So if God is telling me to warn my brothers and sisters, black, white, purple, green, I don't care. I'ma warn y'all and let y'all know that these trends gonna get you fucked up. It is very important to me to venerate my ancestors. I have an altar, but I'm no longer just going to my altar and just praying to my ancestors. First of all, I say benevolent ancestors. I speak to specific ancestors, and I speak to God first at my altar before I speak to my ancestors. I don't do church, so my altar, that's where I do my church. I had to really understand that everything is everything. And so while I was going through the spiritual warfare, when I surrendered to God, I said, God, take everything away from me. If I'm doing whatever I'm doing wrong, please take it away from me. If I'm not supposed to be working with my ancestors, take it away from me. If I'm supposed to break down this altar, please force me to do it, because I'm stubborn. I'm still fighting my ego, and I don't know anything. Lead me, please. But God didn't lead me to break down my altar. God led me to surrender and root everything that I was doing and will continue to do in God. I'm still working with the Bible, trying to figure out just how it relates to my journey right now. I don't fully feel like I don't know. This, like, I'm just being very honest. I don't know if the Bible is going to be like my text of choice, but right now the Bible is my text of choice. God has also prompted me to study everything. So I don't know if after I'm really done studying literally everything, the Quran, Buddhism, all of that, if I'm gonna just like settle in on the Bible or if I'm going to use everything. But the Bible is what works for me. Speaking those Psalms, like, that's what works for me. So when I'm doing candle work, I'm not just speaking words out of my mouth. I'm using the book of Psalms. When I went into a spiritual shop, I saw the book of Psalms, and it coincided with candle magic. So I'm like, I knew that was God telling me, like, girl, you don't know everything. Come back to this Bible. Come back to this word. Come back to me. I never thought that I would acknowledge Jesus to be real. But it's facts. All of these prophets walked the earth at one time. And I don't know everything, but I know that God has not failed me yet. And what worked for me is just surrendering. Like, I no longer want to be, like, I used to feel like I was gonna be like this high priest, and girl, no. I used to feel like I'm supposed to be telling people how to do spirituality, but it's like, no, I'm just a mirror and I'm just a reflection on letting God lead you, letting yourself be led, being disciplined. That's that on that. So I hope that what I'm saying makes some kind of sense. I probably really should have done some like notes and stuff so that I wasn't babbling. But I just want you to just stop following these trends. Just open your heart to God and just surrender. God is going to lead you exactly where you need to go. When I allow God to lead me, when I open the Bible, bro, everything, like, so basically I was reading the Bible now from new eyes, and parts of the spirituality, the crystals of the universe, all this talk, it's in the Bible, bro. It's in the Bible. So at this stage in my life, the Bible is my book of choice. Once I finish reading the Bible, I'm going to go on to another text. I don't know if it's going to be the Quran. I'm not sure what it's going to be just yet. Or I might do like a world religions class or course. I don't know. But I really want to be able to put my finger on the things that align with each religion so that I can help people to understand that at the end of the day, God is real. God rules all of this shit. Sorry, God. I know you're working on my mouth. But yeah, just being a free spirit and just practicing spirituality and attesting everything to the universe and putting all of your power in crystals, that ain't it, my guy or girl. That's not it. And I'm not telling you how to live your life, but I'm telling you that if you're confused, you're not working with God. God is not a God of confusion. God makes things very, very clear. Very, very clear. Let me read this a little bit. See if I hope I answered it, because she said, I guess the main question for you is, how have your thoughts around your childhood to adulthood beliefs changed around spirituality? So yeah, basically as a child, went to church. I was heavy into God. When I started doing my healing, like real inner child healing, I had to tap into those things that brought me peace as a child, and it was always God and it was church. So I went back to that. My spirit went back to that. When I listen to certain gospel songs and I'm reading the Bible, I'm in tears. I go with what moves my spirit, baby. And you got to go with what moves your spirit. Don't be moving on autopilot, just doing stuff that you see on social media because you think that that's what makes you spiritual. I'm a witch. No, baby. You're getting God. You're getting God. This is spiritual warfare, and we're in certain days right now. You better get your shit together. Because a lot of these influencers, they're using God in their wording to kind of keep you still looped in, but keep you from fully tapping into the word of God and fully having your own relationship with them. That's why you are relying on tarot cards. That's why you're relying on other things outside of just God. So for a certain amount of time, I put all that stuff down, all of it, and I just went with God. When I wanted to stop having suicidal thoughts, I begged God to help me. Not Oshun, not no deity, not even my ancestors, God. And it wasn't until I surrendered to God that I got the results that I wanted. Anytime I'm trying to do something, if I don't ask God for help, it's confusion, it's hard. But as soon as I ask God for help, I'm good. Doing candle magic, as soon as I started using the book of Psalms and using words in the Bible alongside lighting these candles, that's when I started getting the results. So take this how you want to take it, but allow yourself to be led. One of the questions in there was, do I think it's important to work with ancestors? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. But everybody is not supposed to be doing the same thing. Everybody's spiritual walk is not going to be the same walk. Allow yourself to be led. You don't know what God wants you to be doing specifically. So I know for me, I didn't know my grandmother. So I connected to her in spirit. And when I connected to her in spirit and I called in my benevolent ancestors and the ancestors that I knew mean me good, so many unanswered questions just started to be answered, and it's blowing my mind. And I'm thanking God because I asked God whether or not I was doing this right. It had gotten to a point where I got on my knees and I cried and I said, God, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing, and I need you. I need you. Please lead me. Please take anything away from me that I'm not supposed to be doing. If I'm not supposed to be working with ancestors, if I'm not supposed to be saying Ashe, if I done tatted up my body with all this history, all this stuff, like, I don't even care. God, just lead me. And God led me and continues to lead me, and it's like, my child, relax. All of that is valid. All of that is valid. Yes, they did use this word to trap your people. But there's more to all of this that you don't know, and you have to stop trying to make sense of it and let me be God and you be my child. And you do what I told you to do. And one of those things was to make this video and speak my truth. So before I continue to babble and maybe confuse you and yeah, I'm just gonna hop off of this and I'm gonna just sit with this. And if there's like more that I feel like I need to go more into detail with, I will make like a actual detailed video with like specific parts and whatever. But I just really wanted to answer this question before I just didn't answer it at all. And I just trust God to speak to somebody through me and through my truth. So that's that. And plus my dog is starting to do the thing that she does when I get on video, which is eat and lick things and tap around the floor, and it's starting to get on my nerves, and my brain is starting to be like, ugh. So I'm gonna hop off of here. I love you. I'll talk to you soon.